Alright everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. Unpause and repause. Yes, I apologize for the delay. I actually had a court case this morning. It was not much of a court case. The case was completely dismissed. There was a reason for that. We'll get into that in a little bit. I will explain parts of it, but I'm not going to get into the minutia because of privacy concerns for third parties and things like that. Not interested in using people's given names and so forth. There's a reason for that, and not a legal reason, just out of respect for other people. Should probably take my mushroom pill. Actually, I've only got 2 left, actually. Hey, cultivated mind. You gotta send me a couple more bottles because I'm almost out. And that's a big, big problem. Yeah. I will explain a little bit. Interesting case, actually. Relic. Yes, you are a relic. I don't care if you care about the case. I'm going to talk about it anyway. Believe it or not, this channel is mine, not yours. It's very, very interesting now, isn't it? I'm going to be a little bit of a cunt today. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm in bastard mode, so, you know, suit up. Get your seatbelts on. We're going for a ride. The return of Isaac. My wife's sister turns 18 tomorrow, and both want me to get her pregnant starting tomorrow. Merry Christmas. Wait, you're gonna fuck your wife's sister? That doesn't seem like a good idea. I would probably throttle back a little bit on that. I mean, is she hot? But yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. That seems like a bad idea. We do have some news to cover today. Again, my apologies for being extremely late, but I had other things that I had to do. Times Person of the Year should be Charlie Kirk. I happen to agree with this, by the way. Although, I think that Donald Trump would be a contender at the same time. Why don't you just have 2 of them? That makes a little bit more sense. Well, Congress sits on election integrity bill. Yeah, Congress has a tendency to sit on bills. Trump admin takes action on non-citizen voting. Good. It's about time that somebody does something like that. The judiciary will block it, obviously. No, you're not allowed to make sure that the elections are actually safe and fair. You're not allowed to do that. Congress moves to block Pentagon from cutting U.S. troops in Europe and South Korea. I actually agree with this one. Congress has the right, under war powers, to determine troop totals. I believe that keeping troops in South Korea is probably a good idea. There are about 28,000 of them, if I remember correctly. We'll get into the article, actually, later. We might get into some of this other stuff first, too. And then Trump's post-globalist flexible realism. The president's NSS renounces globalism, deters rivals, and puts American sovereignty first. I happen to agree with that as well. I think that if you look at foreign policy under Trump, it's demonstrably different than the foreign policy that you got before. Under Joe Biden, foreign policy was, where's my shoes? Where's my prune juice? Quick, I need it. I have to have a bowel movement and stuff. Grumpy in Maryland. What's your take on the Miami mayoral race? Is it the end of the world? No, I do not believe so. I wouldn't worry too much. Localized politics, generally, they don't really bleed upward for the most part. Like you see, like an AOC gets elected in a far blue district. Everyone on the right, you know, basically collapses in hysterics like a fainting goat. But it doesn't really mean anything. It's like, yeah, in this area that's like 80% Democrats, a person on the far left managed to win. Totally, we're all being destroyed. Now, because that's not going to happen in Wyoming, so to speak. Scott Steiner, the world's greatest ring announcer. Pirating is for criminals. Arr, man. Privateering is for distinguished law-abiding people. I would like to do both. Law-abiding people who ensure that the high seas are not full of pirates. Clearly, our Navy is privateering, not pirating. Yeah, but it's cooler to call it piracy now, isn't it? I mean, pirates are cooler than privateers. Nobody even knows what that latter reference is for the most part. So yeah, we're a nation of pirates. Literal pirates were fighting alongside Andrew Jackson at one point. 2,000 of them, actually. By John Lafitte, actually. Spike, I'm back from the Cayman Islands and got lots of booty. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Also, every resort in business has its own cat. Plus, chickens and roosters roam the island freely. Oh, you'll see a lot of that in southern Texas, too, actually. It's pretty funny. You'll see all sorts of weird shit. Also, southern Florida. You know, an anaconda slithers across the road. It wouldn't be necessarily that out of place, actually. Happens all the time. Oh, that boa constrictor over there, just ignore it. You know, maybe we'll chop its head off and roast it for dinner, I suppose. That's basically what happens. Anyway, first to my legal case. Today, I went in for a jury draw under Vermont law. And originally, it looked like we were going to cut a plea deal. So it's a minor misdemeanor. It's nothing particularly major or anything like that. It's related to my New Orleans case. But then they couldn't proceed with the case at all and dismissed it out of hand. The legal system in Vermont is a little bit more civilized than the one in New Orleans. Like you're actually able to put on a legal defense and things like that. Even with a public defender, you might actually be able to prevail, which is what happened in my particular case. To be clear, I wanted to make this exactly clear to everyone. The reason for the second case is that I tried to save a person's life. I'm not going to use names. I'm not going to name specifics. I attempted to save a person's life, but there was an RFA against me, not by this person, but on behalf of the person, by the state of Louisiana. I attempted to save them from dying. And, yeah. And then I got persecuted for it. Believe it or not, yes, the legal system will persecute you for attempting to prevent a person from dying, a mother of 3 specifically. I will say no more on that particular token for privacy reasons. I attempted to save a person's life. I was persecuted by the legal system as a result of this. I am not guilty, and I maintain my non-guilt. Originally, I was willing to take a plea deal in order to say just fuck it and just go away, but that was not necessary because they could not continue the case. It turns out that in the state of Vermont, which is civilized, unlike New Orleans, down in Louisiana, if you are attempting to save a person's life, they don't really have a case against you. That is what I did. I did my due diligence. I did what was right, not what was legal. And so they didn't bother to continue with the case. I tried to save a person from dying, and they persecuted me for this. Let that sink in for a moment. Yeah, I mean, this is the legal system. This is the so-called justice system, writ large. You tried to save a person's life, but we don't like you, so we're going to put you through the ringer. That's basically what they tried to do. They wasted tens of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money to try to persecute me, unsuccessfully, thankfully, in this particular case, for absolutely nothing. Yeah, I'm trying to keep a person from dying here. How am I breaking the law? Okay, maybe I broke the law, but wasn't there a good reason for it? Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you to decide. That's basically the sum and substance of the case. There was a reason that they didn't even get to trial. They didn't even convene a jury in my case. I've saved several lives, actually, in my time. Again, I won't elaborate further. There's no need to brag about it or anything like that. But I have done it before. And I'm hoping that I do it again. I would like to save all of your lives by telling you to drop a vice, bring up a skill, hone it, and so forth. It will serve you well. I had one subscriber, this was about a month ago, comment to me on DM. He took my advice. He was a heroin addict, actually. And now he's a millionaire because he dropped his vice. He gained a skill. He started a small business. Now he's flush. Yeah, he's rich. He can do whatever he wants. Good on you, my man. Good on you. Scott Steiner, Sticks, as a privateer, you could get access to the good stuff at reasonable wholesale prices. Imagine sleazy tasting history, quartering you and 80 clankers on a privateer vessel hunting pirates. I don't want to hunt the pirates. I want to be a pirate. Fuck that shit. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, Illustrator. Sticks free. Kiwi Farms hardest hit. Oh, they are so salty. And they're claiming that I'm salty at the moment. And I'm like, I prevailed. You fucking wanted me in shackles. You wanted me in manacles and stuff like that. You thought that I'd be in a jail cell right now. You failed. All of you are failures. You're a bunch of fucking retards, actually. That's my message to the Kiwi farmers. Which is hysterical. Oh, yeah, the 92 cat. Yeah, I know that they're pissing themselves. Yeah, especially that ex of mine, Sarah Lancaster. She's having a real bad day. And it's like, oh, Tara will just do it again. Yeah, no, I'm totally beyond redemption. Unlike you, who diddles yourself on camera for money. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you should all be keel-hauled. Bobby Bobbinson. Hey, Bobby, you're full of shit. No, I'm completely exonerated. The case didn't even go to trial. So yeah, you can suck it. You can suck my cock, actually. It would probably be a good idea. It'd be the best day of your life, probably. I'm sure that you're into that stuff. I'm having a good day. You may notice I'm in one of my more effervescent moods. We'll get to our sponsors, actually, before we ramble a little bit more, because it's fucking hysterical. All the people who thought that I would be in jail are really, really sad right now. You poor babbies. How is babby formed? Your mother had sex. You know, she took it in the ass, and it dripped out, and, the rest was history. Sigil! Yee, salty dog! Congratulations on beating the legal system cell phone style. Had a similar feeling myself. Nap time now, though, so party hard and get crunked. I'm not going to party hard. I'm actually going to conk out in a little while listening to 80s music. Cooking Inferno. Congrats on the win today. And yes, finding and developing skills is not only fun and possibly profitable, that's the big point, and also makes you a better rounded person. Hell, that's why it's Cooking Inferno. Yeah, you should learn how to do things and drop something, anything in your life. Most people have multiple vices. Drop one of them. Just anyone at random. Maybe you smoke. Maybe you drink. Maybe you have other problems. Whatever it is, drop just one of them. That's all I'm asking you to do. And then build one skill. You may have been told by your parents, like, you're wasting your time playing guitar. Well, if you play guitar really well, if you learn it, you can at the very least go to the biker bar and make tips. At the very least, you'll be able to pay the rent. Do whatever you have to do. Make sure that you have those skills. If you can accomplish just these very limited things, you're already putting yourself in the top 50%. Just saying. I've had people that have done the same thing, and I'm getting phone calls constantly. Go away. I've had people tell me, like, they took that advice, and, some of them became rich, apparently. Hey, Bobby Bobbinson, my favorite troll, by the way, on the channel. Maybe Styx was the crazy ex all along. No, trust me, there is definitely another one that is far and more insane than me. You should not fuck her. That would be a bad idea. That would be a very bad idea. I mean, if you want sloppy 30ths or something like that, and you don't mind the fact that the chick is going to assault you, then it would work, maybe. But otherwise, you probably shouldn't do that. John Doe, how crazy is Sarah? Completely insane, actually. Currently shitposting about me at the moment. And pretending that there's some sort of victory, even though I was exonerated and it never even went to trial. So I'm not going to talk any more about that. We've got news to talk about. We've got more meaningful things to talk about at the moment. First, we'll get to our sponsors, though. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills. You should take them every day, just like I just did. It will help you with your longevity. It also helps with other things. It makes you feel better, generally speaking. I've noticed that it has an effect on the gastrointestinal system, a very positive one. It helps with regularity. I've never really had a problem with that, but, it helps to maintain. You've also got Doggy Dose, which I call Doggo Dose, so your dog can feel exactly the same. And trust me, if you give them Doggy Dose, they're going to scarf it down. If it's a small dog, you're going to have to parse those into quarters or something like that. That bag won't last very long, let me tell you that much. Then we have BiltongUSA.com. That's the land of Anton's deliciousness. He's got various meats available. Wagyu, Angus, venison, bison, name it. You've got it. Cabanasi. Also imports, like the Bovrite, which is so fucking goddamn good. I eat that pretty much every day. Then you've got Stick, Sex, and Hammer, mugs, tumblers, and shirts available also as well. And finally, jamandbean.com. I got some tea right over there right now. It's a tisane tea. That one is the non-caffeinated version. I already had a Monster energy drink this morning, so I don't... I love the smell, but I don't need extra caffeine at the moment. We've got Clanker Blend, other blends of coffee, and various teas available. Tisane / like the herbal green tea sort of thing, as well as like the Yunnan Jig and stuff like that. That's a black tea, so that's got caffeine in it. You can get it all. So yeah, those are our sponsors. We have a good time on this channel. King of Biltong is there. Oh! Anytime that he arrives. I was just reading out the sponsorship spot. Since you're there. It means an opportunity to get an extra fingerful. Delicious. Yeah, Bovrite is delicious. I would like to try some on toast. I've never actually tried it on toast before. I've had Vegemite on toast. Usually I listen to that one song, what is it, Land Down Under, from the 80s, with, what is it, Men Without Hats, I think did that? No, it wasn't Men Without Hats. Who did that song? Let me see this. I don't think it was Men Without Hats. No, it was Men at Work. Okay. Similar. Close. Close, but no cigar. Mike here. Clank motherfuckers. The shopping cart corral is an IQ test most people fail. Shame on all of you. I don't know what that refers to, honestly. Shopping cart corral. Yeah, I was conflating Men at Work with Men Without Hats. Whoops. I failed at the 80s. I shall be punished forever. Bobby, another sticks win to keep Mike from turning his forest into chop suey forest. Actually, about a week ago, for the first time in my life, I had chop suey. I had never tried it before, honestly. I'd never ordered it from an Asian restaurant before. Normally, I just get some sushi or something like that, I like sushi, and I really love General Tso's chicken. Yeah, if it's made correctly. Grumpy, yes, Men Without Hats did the safety dance. I've actually got the album, Rhythm of Youth, I believe it is. In the other room, I've got it on vinyl. It's just sometimes Men Without Hats, Men at Work, you get them conflated, It's a big problem. It happens all the time. Pseudonoid. Men without hats better than men at work. I would agree, actually, yeah. They had a couple of, like, B-side sort of music that really, really were bangers. And, like, what was the name of the song? Things in My Life, I think, was the name of one of them. And that was a good one. Here, let me look up Rhythm of Youth, because there were a couple of songs on there that actually were better than the Safety Dance by far, but they never really got any, they never got any traction. Antarctica was a good song. Ban the Game was good. Ideas for Walls, that was the one, and Things in My Life. And those were great, great songs. They still are. Things in My Life, Ideas for Walls, Ban the Game, Living in China. Those are all better than the Safety Dance. Really, they're one-hit wonder, so-called, other than the bubblegum pop song that they did. Pop Goes the World, I believe it was called. Other than that, they never really got any airplay. But the thing is, all their other songs are so much better than... I mean, the Safety Dance is more catchy, but the other songs are functionally better. Spike, I got some more Jam and Bean coming in. Hey, yeah, and enjoying Anton's meats. I will say the coffee is the Cayman's might be the best I ever had. Nice. Well, once you get the Clanker blend, I bet you'll like this more than the coffee in the Cayman Islands. Just saying. I know that I do. Delicious. Let's see here. Oh, Cooking Inferno. Kung Pao chicken is the best at the Chinese restaurant. But for God's sake, don't be an animal. Request no celery. It's used as a filler here, but in China it's not. FYI, celery ruins its flavor. I am actually a huge fan of celery and would love to grow it in the garden. Looks like I'll get the chance to do that, actually. I'll say no more. But, yeah, no, celery is great. And I don't care if they put it in as filler with a General Tso's chicken or something like that. It's Americanized anyway, so, who really gives a shit? Yeah, Jeremy Briggs, Pak Choi. Yeah, bok choy and pak choy are also very good. Let's get to the news. Time's Person of the Year should be an obvious choice. Charlie Kirk. I think that it's basically a split between Charlie Kirk and Trump. But the latter sort of depends on where his administration goes. So Charlie Kirk is now iconic. In killing him, they made him more powerful than he ever was alive. People that never knew about him, all of a sudden, everyone's hearing about him. And so, I think that would be an obvious choice. I would say that Trump would be the only real contender other than Charlie Kirk, but I doubt that Time is going to make either of them Person of the Year. They're more likely to choose Greta Thunberg or something like that. Oh, she's so stunning and brave. Oh my god. You know, here she is on a ship. She's being arrested. She's in manacles and everything. Stupid shit like that. I highly doubt that Time is going to choose either Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump as Person of the Year. Press X to doubt. Because Time has been limited by, leftoidism, basically, at this point. Keeping in mind, being Person of the Year is not necessarily the greatest thing that you can have anyway. They once gave it to Adolf Hitler. I believe they also gave it to Joseph Stalin. Well, yeah. What a prestigious award. You get a little medal, like a little badge or something like that. I'm Person of the Year according to people that I don't give a shit about because they're fucking totally goddamn irrelevant. That's basically what Time boils down to. It's the same with all these other stupid awards. It's like there are some that are measurable. For example, I hit 100,000 subscribers on BitChute. I gladly accepted the award. I worked for it. I did something good, something measurable, and I got an award for it. Or Rumble, for example. Or YouTube, for what little it's worth at this point. But these kinds of awards are basically like a bunch of celebrities have decided that you're a good person, and it's really nothing beyond that. It really means nothing. If I were Donald Trump and they made me Time Person of the Year, for example, I would say, fuck yourselves. I don't want to be Person of the Year. Find somebody else to be the whipping boy. If I were Kirk's wife, if I were Christina Kirk, I would deny the award completely if it was given to him. I would say, what have you done for us? You helped to contribute to the fact that my husband is dead. And then you grandstand on that. And she probably would, by the way. She seems to be a bit attention-seeking. Also, probably fucking J.D. Vance, but we're not 100% sure. Whatever, these people are up to weird shit all the time. It happens all the time. I get pissed when people give particular importance to awards unless they have physically worked for them. Yeah, Erica Kirk. Mike here. Your hat has the silliness equivalent to a fanny pack and Velcro shoes, and the shopping cart corral is where you put shopping carts back when you're done. Well, I usually put the shopping cart back where it belongs. Some people don't, they just leave it out. I understand that some people, they make their living rallying the shopping carts and stuff, but I'd prefer to make them a little less work. Aurora Sonic Reactor, my favorite albums of 2025. Black Moth, Super Rainbow. New Soft Magic Dream by Automatic. Is It Now? Night Tapes, Portals, and Polarities. Haven't heard any of them. But yeah, I always try to take the shopping cart back. Just to say. It's like I'm a good tipper. I know that some people are not in the mood to do such things, but I'm like, hey, you're making minimum wage, you're mainly surviving on tips. I can give you an extra 10 spot or something like that. As long as you do a good job. If you deliver food to me, and it's timely and fresh and everything else, you're going to get a good goddamn tip. If it's shitty, or like it's 30 minutes late or something, you'll get a tip. Basically, that's the way that I do it. I like to do that because if you are known as a good tipper, if people at a business know your address and they know, hey, shit, he gave me a 30% tip last time, they're more likely to go out of their way to make sure that they get there on time. I don't understand people who say like, I'm never gonna tip anyone or something like that. It's like, these people are working on starvation wages, so, be generous if you can. If you're impoverished, you probably shouldn't be ordering out at all. While Congress sits on election integrity bill, Trump admin takes action on non-citizen voting. Yes, indeed. If you are unable to verify your citizenship, the Trump administration is coming for you. Municipal and state elections, which had been overflowed by people who are not legally eligible to vote, that's not going to be a thing anymore. Until the courts blockade it, which is what exactly will happen. The Supreme Court will probably have to weigh in. They'll probably have to have a case, and they'll have to reiterate once and for all, yes, indeed, only citizens and lawful residents are able to vote in state and municipal elections. Federal elections, it's just citizens. Nobody else is allowed to vote. That's already been settled law. But at the state and municipal level, much like with driver's licenses and things like that, states are issuing them to fucking illegal immigrants. Sometimes they're literally voting in municipal elections. This should not be happening. They're trying to permanently blockade our republic from having proper representation by allowing people with no particular loyalty to our country to vote in our elections. I do not have a problem with people of foreign soil. Not in any way, shape, or form. You're from another country, okay, that's perfectly fine. you're acceding to our laws, you're doing your thing, that's great. But you should not be voting. Not until you at least become a lawful permanent resident. For municipal and state purposes, lawful permanent residence, okay, that's okay, because you're presumptively becoming a citizen unless you break the law. But in federal elections, certainly, only citizens should be voting. You can become naturalized, you can gain citizenship. There's a proper process to go through to actually achieve this. The problem is that some of the people that are voting, they're not attempting to go through the process. They're just under deferred action or something like that. Bobby, it was not Sarah that was in danger. Just to be clear, I'm not going to bother talking about that case anymore. I've made my point. I'm at peace. I was found, well, I didn't even need to be found not guilty. They just fucking dismissed it, so, the case is gone. Cooking Inferno, you would love celery in recipes where it doesn't belong. You didn't grow up in the ants on a log snack 14 times a week. It belongs in soups and stews and sauces. That's it. Celery belongs everywhere. One of the best things you can eat, celery with peanut butter. Just take a celery stalk, cut the end off, and make sure to save that. That can be used in a soup real easy. And it's delicious, by the way. Chop it up and, go to town. But take a celery stalk. You put peanut butter on it, chunky or smooth. Everyone, oh God, I've opened a can of worms. Just by mentioning that, I'm sure that there's going to be a pissing match in the comments about whether it's supposed to be smooth or chunky. Doesn't matter to me. Put peanut butter on it and eat it. It is fucking delicious. King of Biltong. We specialize in imported foods. Check out Biltong USA for a great selection of imported candies, cookies, groceries, and of course, Biltong. BiltongUSA.com. Code STICKS for 10% off Biltong. Take up the offer, my friends. I strongly suggest it. You will not regret it if you get some Cabanassi or something like that from Anton. I would recommend getting several bags. Just fucking buy them because they're fucking delicious. Then you can wash it down with some jam and bean coffee or tea, and then take your mushroom pills at the same time. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're going to devolve into food chat, I believe. We're only half an hour in, so there's plenty of time to talk about our favorite foods. I will stand and die on this hill. Peanut butter goes on celery, and it's one of the greatest snacks ever made. You're getting your fiber with the celery snap. You're getting your protein. It's fucking delicious. Alright? Just the way that it is. Anton should be selling South African peanut butter, I suppose. Congress moves to block Pentagon from cutting U.S. troops in Europe and South Korea. Yes, the troop totals are in the tens of thousands. This is something that I actually side with Congress on, as opposed to Trump. He has been trying to draw down troops in these regions. The thing is, it's a probable deterrent. That is, that if you have troops in the area, the enemy wouldn't dare to move against you. There's no reason for them to do so logically, because if they fire off a rocket and accidentally kill some U.S. troops, well, then you've got a casus belli for a war, potentially. North Korea is not an insane actor. North Korea is a sane actor. Believe it or not, Kim Jong-un was, classically educated in Switzerland, if I remember correctly. He's not insane. He might make insane decisions by our standards, certainly authoritarian, but at the same time, he's not a madman. This is one of the problems in U.S. diplomacy, mainly among the population. A lot of people, and propaganda plays a role in this, a lot of people believe that foreign leaders that we don't like are invariably nuts. They don't make rational decisions. Kim Jong-un has a goddamn master's degree. He is an intelligent, rational individual. He's just somebody that we don't agree with. So, would it be rational to fire off a bunch of rockets at the South Korean border knowing that there are almost 30,000 U.S. troops there that can literally destroy your entire military in a single day? Probably not. So keep them there. I believe that this is a good idea. Does it expend money? Yes. Is it for a worthy cause? Yeah, absolutely. We've been defending South Korea or helping defend them for a very, very long time. There's no reason to back down now. What are we going to do? Let the communists take over the whole peninsula? Yeah, that would be great for geostrategy. This is one of the situations in which we can expend funds without having to kill anybody, without having to go to war. We can prevent war by simply having a large enough force that the North Koreans are never going to dare to do anything. They'll fire some rockets off into the ocean, launch a submarine, something like that. Nobody gives a shit. It's pretty funny, actually, when you think about it. Yes, Lapidus, Bobby is seething. Oh, you should see the seething over on Kiwi Farms. Especially from my crazy ex. Cooking Inferno, peanut butter and celery with raisins, oh god, is a diabolical treat created by satanic parents too cheap to give peanut butter on Ritz crackers, maybe even with a slice of banana on top and said cracker. Banana and peanut butter actually go together really well. The raisins? I have never heard of this. No, thank you. I'll skip that one. And no, you cannot pay me to eat, peanut butter and raisins. That's not going to happen. I already did the candy corn surprise. I've done enough. I did the one chip challenge and I ate a fucking peanut butter sandwich with ketchup and candy corn. What more do you want from me? I'm gonna go full Billy Corgan mode on this one. What the fuck do you want from me? Oh my god. His response. I wish that there was a clip of his response when people queried him about why he looked so glum at Disneyland. I really wish that there was a clip of that. I don't think that there is one, which is probably more sad than Billy Corgan was when he was riding the log slide or whatever the fuck he was on. Oh my god. Learn to discern. Fucking one chip challenge is impossible. Fucking kids. I've got 3 of them left. In fact, I'm thinking about doing it again. Maybe next time I'll try to go 2 hours without drinking anything. I'll just sit there pounding myself on the leg and suffering. Trust me, it is very, very hot. It lives up to its reputation. It's much hotter than a habanero, for example. It's, I believe, hotter than a Reaper pepper, actually. It's spicy. It's 1.7 million Scoville units. That, if I remember correctly, is about 5 times the average spice of a habanero. Like, you might as well just snort capsaicin or something. Imagine somebody crushes up one of the one chips and then they snort it. My nose bled when I snorted the biltong rub, so I can only imagine what would happen with that. It's like, yeah, here's the Stick, Sex, and Hammer Dies stream, Aurora Sonic Reactor just sent you an album recommendations on X from Abstract Cats, Scott George. Thank you. I'll check those after the live stream. Cooking Inferno. That's what fucking ants on a log is. Celery stalk, peanut butter down the middle, and dotted with raisins. Now you can see why celery is ruined for me. Yeah, peanut butter on celery is delicious. I'm trying to think about what the raisins would taste like. It could work, maybe. I'll try it. I mean, that doesn't sound... It's certainly better than fucking candy corn, so... Yeah, I guess I'll try that, Pseudanoid. Styx isn't innocent, he just got away with it. I did nothing wrong. I tried to save someone's life, and ended up briefly imprisoned as a result of this. Yep. That's how the justice system works. You can literally be trying to save someone that you care about, who you love, in fact, and they'll put you in jail for it. It makes a lot of sense. Well, no, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's fucking retarded, but that's what they do. Keep in mind, what is legal and what is right are not necessarily the same. Sometimes you can do what is right, but the law says you're not allowed to do it. Sometimes you can obey the law, and you can do something that is wrong. We've seen many examples of this with policing especially. It's just the way that the world works. In this particular case, I managed to get by. And the person who I say if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah, to be clear, to the legal system out there, I'll break the law again if I have to save someone's life. Fuck you. I'll go to hell. Spike, I would rather keep troops in Korea versus Europe. The Europeans do not want a peace in Ukraine, especially with multiple countries in recession now. Yeah, that's another problem, the economic side. They want to drag us into World War III. North Korea is at least sane. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Guard the South Koreans, abandon Europe. Let them fend for themselves. The UK has nukes. France has nukes. So what are we doing there? What the hell is the purpose? Nobody's going to attack a NATO country. You fucking crazy? You think that Russia has the resources to actually invade Eastern Europe? Good luck. Good luck with the Polish there. God damn, they can beat you with winged hussars at this point. By the way, their winged hussars parade with those very, very sexy Polish women. Yeah, I would love to see one of those. I would love to see Poland, especially the Carpathians. That would be fun. You get all sorts of fun stuff to do. Amazing food, cute girls. What the fuck more do you want out of life? Come on, if you're a straight male. Skippy, I'm taking a 200 milligram edible in your honor. Wish luck. Have fun with that. I've never used an edible in my life. No, Bobby, I quite literally was trying to save a life, actually. This is part of the reason the case fell through. I do not care about your judgment. I don't know whether to mod you or ban you from the channel. Hey everyone, should I ban Bobby or should I mod him as a joke? We'll leave it up to the audience. I'm not making the decision. I'm want to mod you actually because you're hysterical. We're gonna let people decide. Yes, Bobby, I actually can ban you from my channel, believe it or not. It is possible. If there's no conclusion, then I'll just leave things the way that they are. It looks like... Yeah, it looks like a 50-50. Okay, I'm going to leave you the way you are. But Bobby, please, at least be accurate in your criticisms, because it's hysterical. I like you on the channel. You're my favorite troll. To be clear. Cooking Inferno, Sticks, did you get my DM about what a KFC bucket is? Goes along with the Kentucky Klondike bar. I'm not even sure that I want to look into what the latter means. No, I haven't checked my DMs actually today yet. I was a little bit busy, my friend. Bobby Bobbinson. Alright, There's no case cope. It was dismissed. So I didn't even need to be found not guilty. The case is gone. They can't retry me under double jeopardy laws anyway. I can do whatever I want to do. I tried to save somebody's life. I will not give any particulars on this case because this person deserves privacy and is a good person and deserves that privacy. I wish that people would extend that courtesy to me, although they typically don't. But I'm not going to talk out of school about anyone. It's not going to happen. I would gladly testify in her defense, actually, under any circumstances. This is a person that I love. So, the state decided to persecute me. It wasn't the other individual that decided to do so. It was the state. Thankfully, under procedural grounds, they got fucked in the ass. It was hysterical seeing the... and the prosecutor, the lead prosecutor, by the way, looked like the total Karen. She looked like the sort of person that you don't want to have to talk to in the HR department, so to speak. And they looked a little bit downtrodden, having to admit that the state was going to completely drop the case. It was pretty funny, actually. Funky Puppet, are you a felon? No, I am not a felon. Nope. I mean, the former charge is a misdemeanor, and this charge fell through completely, so no, I am not a felon. CP Simple, vagueness. Sometimes you have to be vague to protect other people. To protect other people that you care about. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm not going to be talking too much about the case. Other than in vague terms. My apologies. Maybe in the future I can flesh it out. Pseudonoid, Sticks, can you ever get your gun rights back? Yes, if you judge shop. Absolutely you can. Bobby Bobbinson, Sticks, can you at least tell us about your time in jail? For your edification, I shall. My time in jail was basically just sleeping in the cell as far as Vermont goes, and then the judge said, I don't think he's a flight risk, and then turned me loose, and I had to walk back home. There was nothing more. I had my own cell. In Vermont, they actually give you a bed and a blanket. My God! Compared to New Orleans, that's pretty posh, actually. New Orleans, you sleep about 10 dudes to a cell, and probably more than that. And people are farting up a shitstorm because of the jail food, and the whole thing stinks of fucking fart and stuff like that. It was not the best time in my life, although it was amusing. Salty muggerfucker. A super late, Sticks? Yeah, because I was in court today, and my case was dismissed outright. There is no more legal case against me. Which is proper, because the case never should have existed in the first place given the circumstances. I was not aware that trying to save somebody's life was against the law, but apparently it is. Thankfully, RFAs from Louisiana, because they are so convoluted and retarded, are not honored in the state of Vermont. Yes. So on procedural grounds, yeah. Spike, the Vermont jail sounds fancy. Their sandwiches suck dick. All of the other food was actually pretty good, honestly. Trust me, I was famished. I was, gobbling that shit down. The sandwich, I should have probably just taken the ham out of the slightly stale bread, I suppose. You would much rather be in jail in Vermont than in New Orleans. Let me put it that way. It's on a different order of magnitude. So yeah, I've been, I've been in jail. Believe it or not. Which is actually hysterical. Bobby, and I'm laughing at how pathetic Sticks is. You would have died under the conditions that I was in the New Orleans prison. You would have died on the fucking floor. You would not have been able to take it, Bobby. Just saying. Why is your e-drama okay, but mine isn't? It depends on what the e-drama is. I'm not dragging third parties in, because they have privacy rights. And it's not just for legal reasons, it's also because I respect these individuals. I refuse to throw them under the bus. There's no reason to. If you went to jail, you'd be the snitch of the jail. You'd be the one that gets beaten the shit out of because you decided to tell on other people for minor infractions to save yourself. You would be beaten to a goddamn pulp, Bobby. I'm sorry to tell you. When you get into jail, that's not what you do. Bobby, please listen to me. If you ever go to jail, and I hope that you don't, because I like it when you troll my live streams, If you get to jail, don't be a fucking snitch. Be respectful to the guards, but you don't fucking tell them what other people are doing. They're gonna use drugs. They're gonna fuck one another because they're fucking homos or something like that. All sorts of crazy shit will happen. It's literally a madhouse. Just keep your nose down. You didn't see anything, dude. Don't do anything. Don't talk to anybody about your case or anything like that. Just mind your own fucking business. If you fail to do so, you're probably going to end up with your neck wrong. So be careful. Seriously, that's the best advice that I can give you. CB Simple, been through the New York City tombs. Oh yeah, I've heard of the tombs. That's a part of the song. It's People Who Died. That was a good song. I think it had something to do with heroin on that one. NOLA has nothing on it. No, dude. Based on how New Orleans jail works, I think I would rather be in jail in the tombs, actually. Cooking Inferno, bumped my DM to the top, but just remember, to those two, the worthy and refined academic seeks the definition of Kentucky muzzleloader. I'm assuming that that's probably some sort of sexual reference. Get those all the time. I popularized the term sloppy Joe. That's when you fuck a chick with a condom that is frozen and filled with shit. And then while it's still inside of her, it thaws out, and then it oozes out like a sloppy Joe. That was many, many years ago. Good times. I like disgusting people. It's hysterical. Yeah, but no, nothing weird happened to me in prison other than I got served food that was not really food, actually. That I don't know exactly what kind of meat was in that one patty that they served to me that one day. I have no clue what the fuck it was. It could have been pork, it could have been beef, it could have been chicken. I'm not sure. Because it was completely unseasoned. I don't know what the fuck it was. They don't even give you a piece of bread to put it on. You do not want to go to jail in New Orleans. Let me put it that way. If you go to jail in Vermont, you'll be treated, generally, in a courteous manner. If you go to jail in New Orleans, like, hey, we'll keep you alive. That's basically all we can do. And then take this rancid meat patty and doesn't taste like anything. It didn't even taste like meat. Somehow they took meat and made it not taste like meat. I don't know what the fuck they did to it. Somehow they adulterated it, I guess, with binders or something like that. I have absolutely no clue. Cooking Inferno. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Rikers is the worst. Yeah, that was mentioned in that same song. These are people who died. What band was that by? Just a sec. Let me look it up. It was by the Jim Carroll Band. And he was singing about all of his friends that quite literally died. And how they died. Great song, by the way. I'll have to listen to that later. I'm going to keep that on tab. It's one of my favorite songs, actually. Because, like, God, this dude lost, like, fucking 20 different friends over the course of his young adulthood. That's pretty brutal, dude. Girl of the Valley is still orgasming, as usual. Happens all the time. Mike here. Why would jail food be good? You're being punished. Yeah, but I mean, it should at least be edible. It should at least be, like, you know, maybe cafeteria quality. I would think that that's not too much to ask. Even if it's cardboard pizza, at the very least, it's going to be better than what they're going to give you in Louisiana. In Vermont, you're going to get, like, slightly dry bread. It was, I think, a ham and cheese. It was pretty good. I ate some of it. And then you get, like, the mixed fruit and stuff like that. It's cheap. I mean, it's not meant to be gourmet or something like that. But it was definitely light years better than what you got in Louisiana. Louisiana, 10 men to a cell, possibly more. Toilet looks like fucking shit because it's literally covered in fucking shit. You're not getting a blanket. Not unless you are one of the recent detainees because they don't have enough blankets. There is no bed. You're going to sleep on the goddamn floor like the whore that you are. And everything is all fucked up and people are using drugs in your cell and going crazy. Vermont, you're going to get at least an edible meal. It's not going to be anything fancy, but it's edible. You will get a blanket. You will get a pillow. You will get your own bed. Hey, God, compared to New Orleans, Vermont was the goddamn Ritz. Yeah, so if you're going to get subjugated to the legal system, which is retarded to begin with, I suggest that you do it in a place like Vermont, not in a place like New Orleans. Please don't get arrested in New Orleans. You will suffer considerably. New CB Simple, Nola actually sounds worse than the Tombs. Dude, if you saw the meat patty that they gave me for breakfast on the first day, yes. There's no possibility that you can get worse than that. I don't even know what kind of meat it was. It wasn't even cooked. It was cold, covered in grease, and I mean, it was edible, I guess, but I don't know of anyone that would want to eat it. Even somebody who's starving probably would pass it up. They must have so much food waste in their prisons down there. It was terrible. I already served my time. I've served my time in hell, my friend. Because those 2 days were basically hell. Although it was funny talking to the fellow prisoners, the best time that I had was actually interacting with them. It was funny, because I thought, oh my god, I'm in jail. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna get fucking raped in the ass or something like that. Now, those dudes were cool. Those dudes were actually entertaining to talk to. The food was shit. The accommodations were shit. The people that were supposedly supposed to help represent us never showed up, so that was shit. And the guards were shit too. And Louisiana's a pile of shit. Just saying. But the other inmates, ironically, were pretty based. They called me Jesus and laughed about it. They thought it was funny. Bobby, I'm not a snitch. I criticize people to their face. I'll fight a guy if he's down to clown. Oh boy, you're not going to make it in jail if you end up there. Go to New Orleans and deliberately get put in jail and see how big a man you are. That'll be funny. Oh god. We'll get YouTube footage of you getting beaten into a bloody pulp. No, when you're in jail, don't talk to anyone, only your lawyer. Be respectful. Don't offer anyone insult. If somebody offers you insult, you may have to raise up. Otherwise, if nobody's doing that, leave them alone. And expect shitty food. Basically, those are the rules. Talk to your lawyer. You don't need to tell anyone else about your case. I mean, you can if you're making a joke, I suppose. Like I told him that I was in for battery charges. And then they were laughing their ass off. They're like, ah ha ha, Jesus is in on battery charges. Which were bullshit to begin with. But that was funny. And then when I changed into my normal attire and came out, then they started referring to me as Satan, actually. It was pretty funny. That was funny as fuck. Yeah, Ronnie, snitches get stitches. Do not, under any circumstances, if you are jailed, snitch on anyone. Do not tell. If somebody does something that's against the rules, the best advice, you didn't see nothing. You didn't see anything. They might strip search you. They might have you take your jumpsuit off or whatever. Deal with it. It is much better to deal with that than to deal with pounding. So, don't tell nobody nothing. If they come into the cell, as literally happened to me, and smoke a bunch of weed, behind the toilet, I didn't see anything. Dudes came in here and smoked weed. I don't really exactly know who they were. There's a lighter over there, but I didn't see anything else. I don't know who deposited it. That's basically what I said to the prison guard. Of course, I didn't get strip searched as a result of this. You're cooperative, but at the same time, you're covering your ass. Because your asshole is a really nice hole for somebody who's perverted. So you gotta be careful of these things. I didn't see anything. They came in here and said, I didn't see who it was. I don't know their names or anything like that. One dude had, he was black, like everyone else in the jail in New Orleans. I didn't see anything else, officer. I didn't do anything wrong. You can test me right now. I didn't smoke any weed. And I would have been telling the truth. Do not, under any circumstances, be a prison snitch. If you want to be a bitch, you should be a snitch. Oh, the guards will love you. It's just that they're going to use you as cannon fodder, basically. That's not a good idea. The best thing that you can do is ignore everything around you as much as possible and not say a goddamn thing. It is a terrible idea to become the prison snitch. The guards are not going to be able to save you from what will come. I kept this in mind the entire time that I was there. And I was only there for a couple of days. I thought it was a goddamn week. Mainly because I was a little bit wasted at the time. I mean, I had been on Bourbon Street, so yeah, I may not have been 100% sober at the time. Just saying. This happens. You go to New Orleans, what do you think people are going to Bourbon Street for? Jesus. And it's funny. You'll see people, they've got hand grenades. Now, the hand grenade is like gin, vodka, and some third shot, I think, is in it. I can't remember which one it is. It's in these green, they look like they're magical potions or something. But it's basically 3 shots of alcohol in some sort of stratum. I can't remember exactly how it's mixed. And it's a very powerful drink. I know that gin and vodka is involved. I think, is it rum? I can't remember the third one, Sambuca or something like that. And people walk around with these openly. The police are on Bourbon Street all the time for a reason. People walk around with these drinks, openly defying, open container laws, because nobody cares down in New Orleans. And so they'll just, chug it down. And they'll walk down the street and get a slice of vastly overpriced pizza. Do you want to pay $10 for a slice of pizza? Go to Bourbon Street. I would much rather go to Ralph's on the Park myself. Learn to discern. Everclear Überaus. Arbeit macht frei. I have never actually tried Everclear. Yes, learn to discern. I saw nothing. I know nothing. That is the etiquette in prison. I didn't see jack shit. Yeah, I mean, he walked into the cell and shot up heroin. I didn't see him do that. I must have had my head turned or something, officer. Fucking... you can ask somebody else. That's basically the way that you have to act in prison. Trust me. It is a very good idea. Do not talk to anyone unless compelled to do so. And if your lawyer's there, then it's a little bit better. Chuy Fernandez, happy to hear your case was dismissed, brother. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Johnny Trash, no open laws in the district in the quarter. Yes, true. If you're on Bourbon Street, effectively, you can whip out your tits, which is strongly recommended for hot females. You can carry your drink around. Nobody gives a shit. Bourbon Street is a 24/7 fucking party. I can't imagine how fun it would be to live up above, like in one of the apartments up above Bourbon Street. Oh man, that must be great. Until you're trying to sleep, then it's probably a little bit less great. Because there is music nonstop. And there are street vendors, beggars, and all sorts of other stuff going on. Bourbon Street is like nothing that I've ever seen before. The only thing that kind of rivals it would be the Centrum in Amsterdam. It's the only thing that comes close. Similar sized cities, by the way. Let's see. Go follow Tony the Greaser. Stay greasy. That's what I'm talking about. Tony the Greaser is pretty cool. Yeah. FB, keep your eyes and your ears open and your mouth closed. That is exactly the advice I would give if you are ever in jail. Rule number 1, when you are arrested, don't talk to the cops. Don't bother defending yourself, invoke the fifth, don't say anything. Your lawyer will handle it. Only talk to your lawyer. Number 2, if you are in custody, do not talk about your case to literally anyone. You can joke about it and say, yeah, I'm here for such and such a charge, because you know the charge. That's okay. Beyond that, don't talk to anybody. Keep your nose down. Do not offer anyone insult. Some people have this weird conception, and I think it comes from gangland movies. They have the conception that the first thing that you should do when you go into the prison is beat up the largest guy in there. Oh boy, is that a bad idea. Because that big dude is probably the leader of some prison gang. I have a feeling that some of this might be an attempt to troll people. No, you do not want to do that. That's a way to get killed, actually. Leave everyone alone, mind your own fucking business, and keep to yourself. You may make some friends. Also, another tip. Do not accept anything from anyone. Reciprocation is number 1 within jails and prisons. If you are offered even a stick of gum, if you accept it, you will be accepted to pay back 10 times the recompense. Do not accept anything from anyone. If you load your commissary and you offer other people things, you can get all sorts of favors. If you take something from someone else, even if it's very minor, on the outside, that stick of gum, what is it worth? 20 cents? Something like that? Maybe 30? Yeah, you're going to have to pay back $3. I'm sorry, hey, I need some toilet paper or something like that. Don't get yourself into trouble. If you're ever in jail, don't do it. Do not take anything from anyone. Unless it's somebody that you personally know. So, your friend happens to be in jail with you. They're probably not going to screw you. But other people will. That's why when the second-degree murder criminal, who probably is in prison by now, when he offered me a few bites of a tangerine, because I wasn't awake for lunch, I was basically passed out because I hadn't slept the other night, I declined it. I declined it because I knew that I would owe him. And so I said, no, that's fine. I don't need, a bite of your tangerine. Because I knew that if I took a bite of his tangerine, now this is something flippant. It's just a bite of a fucking tangerine. He's going to come at me later on and say, well, I gave you some tangerine. Can you fill up my commissary? That's basically what happens. Don't take anything from anyone. Never, ever, under any circumstances, unless they are known to you and they are a friend to you. Do not do it. This is my advice for people in jail. Talk only to your lawyer. Keep your nose down. Offer nobody insult. If you take insult, if you can take it, then just wave it off. If not, you might have to fight. That's just the way that it is. It's unlikely, but it can happen. And definitely don't accept any gifts from anyone at any time, because they are not gifts. Just saying. Yeah, do not bite the tangerine, says Equus. Yeah, exactly. Do not take the tangerine would be good advice for people that are in jail. As far as the pick up the soap thing, that's mainly limited to people who are rapists or child molesters. You're probably not, unless you are a dedicated homosexual and you're selling your ass in order to get your commissary filled up, you're not really gonna face anything like that. I never had anyone sexually assault me or make any comments towards me when I was in jail. And I've got long hair and shit like that, so, you know. You would think stereotypically, they'd be like, oh, you do got pretty lips. Oh, put some lipstick on you? You look just like... That never happened. Just to be clear. That's not the way that it works. NB, they do that in prison, not jail. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing. I would rather be in prison than in jail, honestly. If you looked at the way that the jails were run in New Orleans, holy goddamn Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, it's really organized, my dudes. Here's my, meat patty. I don't know what kind of meat it is, but, you know, supposedly it's edible. You could at least give me a fucking ketchup pack. It costs like less than a penny. Oh, wait, they don't use pennies anymore. Okay, I guess it costs a nickel now. Last beacon, hey Sticks, ping us! Also, I'm happy that you are in the free and clear. Me too. Although I wouldn't really fear a prison in the state of Vermont. Considering the conditions that are down in New Orleans, yeah, put me in prison for a goddamn year. It won't be nearly as much punishment as being there for a week, so there's not a whole lot you can do. Yeah, I never dropped the soap because I wasn't stupid enough to use the shower. Although I would point out in the Louisiana lockup, when you take a shower, there's a guard outside and there's only one person allowed at a time. Which means that it throttles it quite a bit, which means people don't really get a lot of showers, you know. Just a big problem. Yes, learn to discern. I just saw on the news some young policewoman died in Rutland. Crazy. Yes, that was here. Actually, it's in the docket for later, or possibly tomorrow, probably tomorrow. Yeah, there was a trainee, actually, a young woman, you know, barely of age. She was driving with a couple of other officers, and they didn't instruct her to put her seatbelt on. Well, the vehicle got rammed by someone that they were pursuing, and they weren't supposed to be pursuing the person at all. They were supposed to call it in, cordon it off, and do that. But they decided to give chase anyway. He wheeled around, smashed into the vehicle, and she got shot through the fucking windshield. And she died. Now, there are multiple officers that have been reassigned or are currently, you know, facing criminal charges. Her family was sued. Oh, definitely. NB. Her family is going to sue them so hard. That's one of the few things. I hope that my taxpayer money goes towards funding the family. Because that's just retarded. The entire case is retarded. You didn't even tell the trainee. She had 5 days on the job. You didn't even tell her to put her seatbelt on when you were in a high-speed chase that you shouldn't even been on? What the hell is wrong with you? You know, whatever. There's something wrong with you. Last beacon, I couldn't bear a year without you Sticks. Believe me, I get sick and tired of the doomers. Don't worry, I will be around for a very, very long time. Every time I try to turn on Rumble, it always gives me the Rumble symbol and nothing else. I don't know. Rumble, I think they might be updating the system or something. Because I had problems earlier when I was uploading my morning videos and it wouldn't take. And so I had to do it multiple times. I'm assuming that they're updating the system. That's my assumption. I mean, I do like Rumble. It's just you be a little bit more quick with the updates. That's all I'm asking. Spooksy is saying the N-word, I guess. Something like that. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. What's the scoop on the New Orleans case? I was found guilty. I am in probation. All I have to do is call once a week. Yep, that's pretty much the terms. This, by the way, is very helpful in preventing domestic violence. I don't know. These people are retarded. The legal system is retarded. Spooksy, can you please not do that? You're blocking out other people from chatting. Bobby, you are not blocked, actually. I'm assuming you're referring to some other person. Oh, FB, Brave browser. Yeah, Brave works fairly well. I use Opera, but heavily modified so that there's no intrusion by Chinese communists, so to speak. I use multiple add-ons, so to speak. Connect 200. Was it the New Orleans case? No, this was a Vermont case, actually. They brought a case against me for violation of a restraining order, an RFA. They were going to hatch it down to basically a plea deal that would be a lesser, like a D-list misdemeanor, which would have meant I would have paid a $100 fine or something. Then they realized they can't proceed with the case at all because New Orleans and Vermont are not the same thing. The Napoleonic law that is used in Louisiana is inapplicable in a Vermont court. Also, it's not really illegal to try to save someone's life. So they didn't really have a case, so they didn't bother proceeding with it. I believe that trying to save someone's life, trying to prevent them from dying, should generally be conceived of as legal. It doesn't matter what methods. I would do it again in 100 years. I'd do it again 1,000 times. I don't give a fuck about the law. I literally do not care about the court system. The judiciary can kiss my ass, actually. I don't care about it. If I believe that someone is in need, if they are at risk, I'm going to try everything in my power to try to save them. I don't give a shit if it's legal or not. Kiss my ass. If your laws are so demented that you believe that trying to save somebody's life should be against the law, well, then you're illegitimate. I'm just going to ignore you. I'd rather take the punishment myself. I'd rather not have the guilt on my mind of someone dying. That's exactly what I did. Six future cellmate. So close, damn it. Yeah, sorry. I know. Well, you can always come over to my house if you really want to fuck me in the ass or something like that. I suppose you can just come and visit, I suppose. You're going to have to pay, though. It's going to be paying a lot. I am just joking. I'm not into that sort of thing, sadly. Unless you're female, then, you know, yeah, I guess that could work. Steve Har, so why can't you get your guns back? Actually, I can. This will happen soon. Although the guns that I specifically had to be bereaved of, I'm never going to get those back. I'll have to get different ones. Aw, I'm almost out of tea. Shit. Sunnycat. What do you mean, sadly, you're not into prostituting? Well, I mean, it would be lucrative. So if I was into that sort of thing, I could get a lot of money, but I'm not interested in that. Yeah, Spike should have committed a violent crime. They let those people out all the time. Yeah, what I should do is go to Mexico, come back in without my passport, and say, no habla inglés, or something like that. And they'll put me up in a hotel, give me free money, and I'm immune to any criminal charges. That sounds like a good idea. I guess we're going down to the Mexican border, my dude. Mike here. Don't invite people to your parents' house to try and do you harm. It's disrespectful and it may get them hurt. My dad is a Vietnam Marine. Mom is a badass bitch. I have an assortment of blades and various other articles that I can use to fight with. Anyone trying to breach this home is going to get cut to absolute pieces. We will put them in pots and bury them in the backyard and turn them into kimchi, probably, or something like that. They will never be heard from again. So I'm not worried about anyone. You go ahead and try to breach this house. Yeah, my crazed Vietnam Marine dad totally can't take care of you. My mom, who could probably punch an elk out, she can't hold her own either. And I, who have, about 24 different bladed weapons and totally don't have any firearms, I had to give them up. I can't do anything either. We won't take care of anyone. Yeah. It would be hysterical if somebody were to come and try to breach this home. Just saying. You can always be buried in the garden. You'd make good compost. Yes, Chadros, records can be expunged. My brother had a felony and now has all his rights back. Yeah, in this case, mine is only a misdemeanor, so there is no felony. I will be seeking to have the original charge expunged because, it was retarded to begin with. I tossed a phone to someone. Wow. I'm such a terrible, violent, dangerous, horrible person for tossing a phone. That's literally what all of this is about. The original case was bullshit. The new case was even more bullshit. Hey, I'm trying to save your life. Oh no, you're not allowed to do that. That's literally the fucking case. I've seen the justice system for what it really is. Horse shit. It's literally horse shit. It makes no sense. I tried to keep someone from dying. I tossed a phone to somebody. Come on, dude. What are you talking about? I always thought, when I was younger, when I was more naive, I suppose, I thought that the justice system was, okay, we're prosecuting this person because they tried to kill someone. They tried to rape someone. They did something terrible. Then I found out most of these cases are nonsensical. Mostly it's just a misunderstanding or something like that. You tossed a phone. It hit somebody in the side. It caused a mild bruise. Well, here's your misdemeanor charge for battery. You attempted to prevent somebody from harm. You tried to save their life. But you're not allowed to do that. The state is telling you you're not allowed. So we're going to charge you for that too. It is completely fucktarded. I'm hoping that none of you ever have to deal with the legal system, because it really is that phantasmagorically stupid. It was written by retards. Retards made our laws. They shouldn't exist. They should expunge every single law in the books and just rewrite them or something like that. It's completely insane. It makes absolutely no sense. It's on a different level. I never expected in a million years that it was as messed up as it is. It really has changed my mind with regards to the legal system, actually. Mike here, oh, I already read that one. I thought there was another one. Oh, there it is. Alan Jackson, did you go to jail for groping a girl midstream? No, I did not go to jail for pawing up my girlfriend. No, believe it or not, that's generally legal. Believe it or not, people who are in relationships, they sometimes paw each other up. Crossover Maniac. Question. I heard that Tibetan Buddhist texts say, never go into light because it is a trap to reincarnate you and keep you in this plane of existence forever. Do you know anything about it? Sounds like you're talking about clip-off, with a Q, by the way. You should look that up. Clip-off. The idea that the tree of life that leads you up to God, which is really an energy more than anything else, will burn you up into nothingness and destroy you entirely. You will no longer exist at all. Clip off is the idea of going down, which is what I follow. That's to get away from the light of the Creator, so to speak, so that you can continue existing in your various forms. Clip off is the idea that the light of God is simply a devouring fire, which is alluded to within Judaistic scripture, if you believe in it. And the idea is that you become as nothing. You simply cease to exist. God will devour you. You will no longer be there. There will be no consciousness. To avoid this, you go into the dark. You hide in the dark. Very, very interesting, actually. Haha. Mac, America is so cool. They're literally drunks and pirates, clankers of the new incarnation. Very, very true. I may not be drunk at the moment, but I am philosophical. Crossover Maniac. How do you spell that? Let me put it in chat. Wait, did I spell that correctly? Just a sec. Let me fucking... Jesus. I think I spelled that correctly. The clip-off with 2 P's. Powerful, chaotic, evil entities from Jewish mysticism, representing the husks or shells of evil forces, the shadow side of the divine tree of life, or Sephiroth. In another interpretation, it's a little bit different. The idea is that if you approach too closely to the power of, the non-existent God that the Jews worship, you will be burned up into nothingness. You can go in the other direction too, though. Sink into the shadows, go into the swamp, so to speak, and become Sephiroth, effectively. Very fascinating religious scripture. I've got a book on the actual idea. Maybe I should show that off. I just released Morbid Story. I'd like to show off more of my book collection. I didn't write most of them, but it'd still be fun. Yep, the tea is gone. No more green tea. In fact, I've exhausted the entire bag. How sad. The idea is this. The tree of life reaches up to the heavens, right? And so there are multiple nodes on it, and it's kind of autistic. And it goes up, and you approach God. Clip-off claims that you should go in the other direction. Delve deep into the roots of the tree, so to speak. You're supposed to delve into those in order to escape the light of God, to effectively become subterranean and avoid being blasted into non-existence, because God will simply burn you alive. You will cease to exist. You will become as nothing. I happen to agree with this basic summary. I happen to agree with Clip-Off. I believe that it is right. People should not be compelled to worship some tyrannical being. I do not believe in it at all. Just saying. All I want to do is write books and, listen to music and stuff like that. It's not that difficult. I keep getting persecuted over and over. Holy shit. As far as Judaism, I do not take any strong arm position with regards to, the Israel-Palestine thing. Let them kill each other. Who gives a shit? But as far as Judaism, I reject it. I reject mainline Judaism, the same as I reject Islam. And I think that everyone should. I don't give a fuck. I also reject Christianity. Alan Jackson. Fred Phelps was right. You are headed irreversibly to hell. Yes, I am going to hell, and I'm very glad about that. Crossover Maniac. That's scarier than archons recycling souls to feed off them in their cycle of death and rebirth. No, there's nothing scary about it. What happens when you die, you have various choices. The most obvious choice, died in hell. This is not a place of punishment or anything like that. It's simply a place that you happen to be. You can go to heaven, I mean, if you want to, I guess. I don't know why you'd want to. Yes, the seventh star. Yep. I do not believe in the conceptualization of heaven that is conceptualized by Christians. It is a utopian masterpiece, of course, but it is not real. It does not exist. It is not there. You are not going to heaven when you die. That is not going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you that. Some of you will find that disturbing. I realize that much of my audience is Christian, but the heaven that you've been taught about was never even taught about in the Bible in the first place. Where did you get this conceptualization of a heaven with bright pink clouds and angels flying around and so forth? Can you name the scripture? Can you please tell me where this is actually talked about at all in the Bible? It's not there. It does not exist. I'm trying to help people. I'm not a Satanist. I'm not a devil worshiper or anything like that. I worship myself. But I am also classically trained in these sorts of things. Can you please tell me, where exactly is this in the Bible? Bobby will say, read Revelation. Revelation talks about a whore riding a hydra and tempting the world with a bunch of forbidden fruits and things like that. Is this really reliable? Also, why was it included in the Bible? It was almost nudged out, actually, by a different revelational work. What makes you think that the Roman Catholic Church has the ability to decide what is in your Bible? Can I please ask that question? So far, nobody has been able to ask it, because there were several competing works, actually, for the last book. The compilation that you call the Bible is nothing more than a series of works that were canonized by the Roman Catholic Church, which is notoriously corrupt. Even Protestants use the same Bible. Why? Why should you trust them to canonize the works, to make them part of the literature that you use? Because that's exactly what you're doing. The ritualism, high church, low church debate is something that all of you need to research. It takes only 10 minutes to realize how much you've been fooled. You're all going to hell because you're following ritualism. Spike, thoughts on silver today? Blew past its triple top a few weeks ago and running after gold in unknown territory. I fear higher inflation is coming. 1929 crackdown coming too. I don't think that the latter will happen. I don't think that that will occur. Yes, all you have to do is read the Bible, and then look at the history of the Bible. You'll find ritualism has infected every aspect of every advent of Christianity, other than maybe the Amish and a few others. They're the only ones that are non-ritualists. The low churchers are in the vast minority. But they're the ones that are right. They're the ones that are actually following Jesus. Jesus, I have respect for. I do not have respect for priests, pastors, and other charlatans, pieces of shit that deserve to be hanged by their own entrails. No, I'm not going to respect them at all. Just saying. BWY 3 Sticks. Congrats on our fearless leader. What do you think about Republicans getting wiped out? It'll probably happen. What does that mean for midterms? We lost Miami mayor, for fuck's sake. Not a surprise. Not a surprise at this point. The Republicans are very good at having a reasonable situation. So there's a reasonable possibility that they could win, but then they just totally screw it because they're Republicans. It happens all the time. This is nothing new under the sun. Crossover maniac. I heard that the book of Revelation is just a rehash of an earlier Jewish apocalyptic book. Only partially true. It is a Roman Advent, and they did improve upon it and make it more, readable. But the thing is, there is no end times. It's not going to happen. People are looking forward to it because they want a time in which God comes and claims their souls, because they all think of themselves as rightful and worthy, and takes them up to heaven like that. It's never going to happen, dude. Sorry. You're not going to heaven, because there is no heaven. Hate to tell you this. There is a hell, though. You can go there. We've got plenty of good food and shit like that. There is no heaven. The Christian heaven does not exist. I know that most of the people watching this live stream are Christian. And I don't mean to insult you, because you've been lied to. It's not your fault or anything like that. And if you believe in the teachings of Jesus, I commend you. If you follow the teachings of Jesus, if everyone did, this would be a way better world. Oh, you mean you offer nobody insult and people just do what they mean to do and don't judge each other and they help each other? That sounds great. I would love to live in a world that was guided by the teachings of Jesus Christ. This would be great. The problem is that most of the people that are preaching Christianity don't live by those morals. They don't listen to Jesus. They don't give a fuck. They claim to be by Jesus and get a lot of money doing so. Mainly they have Rolex watches and, $20,000 suits and stuff like that. And well, you're really living as Jesus lived. With his sackcloth and, a meager meal. Hey, I got some warm water and some bread. Hell, today I got a couple of figs. Holy shit, that sounds great. That's the way that Jesus lived. He wandered around with prostitutes and with thieves and with criminals, and he ministered to these people, at least according to canon. It's totally different from what you get from like the mega churches and stuff like that. If Jesus came back and he was really as Jesus was, I would give him total respect. I would follow him myself. Say, look, finally somebody gets it. But, mega church pastors and things like that, they do not get it. They're a bunch of charlatans. They're all going to hell. I'm going to torture them all in the fire. It's going to be hysterical. Jimmy Swaggart and Tim Haggart and people like that. Fuck you people. Learn to discern. Sent 2 hyphens. Thank you anyway. I have no idea what you mean, my man. Yeah, if Jesus existed and went through with the teachings that he actually did, those would be good teachings. But none of the modern pastors, they don't do that, actually. Let's see. Alan Jackson, WC on ArchiveNet. God hates you. God hates America. All right. A lot of people say that. I'm sure that God would hate the megachurch pastors. If Jesus were around today, he'd be thrown over tables again. Crossover maniac. Jesus never existed. I do believe that there is a central character that is referred to as Jesus that made its way into the scripture. Whether this is one central character or not, that remains to be seen. But the teachings, as far as are related, would lead you in a totally different direction from anything that the Catholic Church especially, and any other Romanistic church, ritualistic church, is teaching. It would teach you to feed the hungry, to help those even that offer you even that offer you insult, which is pretty funny. This is something that megachurches don't do. If you criticize them in any way, good luck, asshole. That's basically the way they operate. You're supposed to help those that cannot help themselves. That's the entire teaching. That's the whole of the law, according to Jesus Christ himself. Do unto others as you would have done unto you, and so forth. Help the helpless. Take care of those that have nothing. Jesus commanded it. That means that 99% of people that proclaim themselves to be Christians, you're going to hell. You're going to suffer when you die. You're going to be corrected, so to speak, according to your own judgment. You're going to be punished. It'll be funny watching it, by the way. I'll be the one administering it, by the way. But yes, Jesus Christ quite clearly taught people. I mean, it's literally in the Bible. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. Help the helpless. It's no further than that. Love your God as you love yourself. It can't be more clear. It's sort of like when we look at the Constitution. You look at the Second Amendment, for example. It's in plain language. It doesn't require any interpretation. You don't have to have 100-page linguistic magazines on, what does this mean? What does the Second Amendment mean? Well, it's quite clear. It's quite plain language. The same is true of the transliteration, one of the few in the Bible, by the way, that's actually accurate. It's one of the few transliterations that's actually accurate. It's pretty easy to understand what Jesus Christ is saying. You don't have to believe in Jesus Christ, or even in the message. You can deny it entirely. But the message itself, if you accept it, is quite clear. You're supposed to help those that cannot help themselves and leave people alone, etc. Be charitable. Help others. Dan Malone, recognizing the difference in introjection versus introspection. Until the unconscious becomes conscious, we are lost in the labyrinth of shadow mirrors reflecting one's own shadows as someone else's. Interesting point, actually. Alan Jackson, Z41. America seized a tanker like the Barbary Pirates. Yeah, I saw that this morning, and I loved that. Yeah, the United States should just begin seizing every Venezuelan flag tanker. What are they going to do about it? What are you going to do? Fire on our ships? That'd be a good idea. That'd be hysterical. Oh my God. A bottle rocket was fired from Venezuela. What shall we do? Oh, that's why we got the Vulcan system on the back of the ship. Well, let's blow it down. They can't do jack shit. We'll just take out ship after ship and take their oil and so forth. Then we can sell it. It's reparations for you trying to colonize our country, I suppose. Enjoy your punishment, asshole. Anyways, I'm going to go offline here. I've got a few things in the docket I really wanted to get to, but I think I'll hold them over until tomorrow. We're going up on 2 hours at this point, so that's bullshit. So I'm going to create the rest of the docket, and I'm going to relax because I did have a long day. I did have to go to court today. I did prevail. That's wonderful. I didn't even need to be found not guilty. They didn't even convene a trial. But it did exhaust me. I had to get up early and fucking wait for hours and shit like that. It's me, BW. I figured out how to fix my name. It's me, BW, Sticks. Good to know. So yeah, I'm going to go offline, and I will be back tomorrow. Do not worry. I will be back with more docketed news. Hopefully more than today. I only had, 5 articles, I think, or something like that. I think it was 5. Yeah, it was 5. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow and we will talk more. That's about all. Peace out. No, well, I've got to end the stream first, so peace out.